Let's get started with today's story. It all started with a party. "Hey babe," Amanda called out from the bedroom one Saturday evening. She was rifling through her wardrobe, holding up dresses like she was auditioning for a role. "Do you think the red one or the black one?" I leaned against the doorframe, grinning. "Black, always black. Red's too loud for you." "Loud is exactly what I need," she said with a wink. That should have been my first clue. Amanda wasn't really a loud kind of person. She was sweet, dependable, the kind of woman who made lists for everything. But lately, she'd been restless, going out more often, meeting friends I'd never heard of. This party was just another one of those networking things, she said. I didn't think much of it. I trusted her. That night, Amanda left looking stunning, her hair cascading down her back, her lips painted a dangerous shade of red. I kissed her goodbye at the door. "Don't have too much fun without me," I joked. "Promise," she said, flashing me a smile that I now realize wasn't quite as genuine as I thought. I stayed home that night, flipping through TV channels, trying to keep myself distracted. The house felt unusually quiet without Amanda, and I kept glancing at my phone, waiting for her to check in. Around midnight, I sent her a quick text. "Hey, having fun?" "Yeah, it's great. I'll be home soon," she responded. That reply gave me some relief, but as the hours ticked by, my worry grew. By 2 a.m., I was struggling to focus on the movie playing on the screen. Something didn't sit right. Amanda wasn't usually the type to stay out late, especially without checking in again. I picked up my phone and stared at her message, debating whether to call. "Don't overthink it, Kevin. She's fine." I tried convincing myself. But by 3 a.m., I couldn't sit still anymore. I was pacing the living room, my mind running wild with worst-case scenarios. Had she gotten into an accident? Was she okay? Just as I reached for my phone to call her, the front door creaked open. The sight of her froze me in place. Amanda stumbled in, her hair disheveled, her lipstick smudged halfway across her face. Her high heels dangled from one hand, and the unmistakable stench of alcohol wafted in as she shut the door behind her. "Jesus, Amanda," I said, rushing over as she nearly tripped over the edge of the rug. "What the hell happened?" She let out a slurred laugh and waved me off. "I'm fine," she muttered, her voice thick with exhaustion and booze. "Just had a bit too much." "Yeah, I can see that," I said, grabbing her arm to steady her as she swayed on her feet. Her eyes were glassy and her mascara had run down her cheeks like she'd been crying, or sweating. I got her some water and helped her into bed, chalking it up to one of those nights. Everyone's entitled to blow off steam, right? The next morning, Amanda was quieter than usual. She winced as she sat down for breakfast like she was physically uncomfortable. "You okay?" I asked, pouring her coffee. "Yeah, just hungover. That's all." But as the days passed, her mood didn't improve. She seemed distant, distracted, and more irritable than I'd ever seen her. And then there was the phone. She started keeping it face down, taking it with her everywhere, even to the bathroom. "Is everything all right with you?" I finally asked one night while we were watching TV. "Of course. Why wouldn't it be?" she snapped, a little too defensively. I didn't press her. I should have. About a week later, I got home from work earlier than usual. As I headed toward the kitchen, I heard Amanda's voice coming from the bedroom. Her tone was unusually clipped and serious. Curiosity got the better of me, and I paused just outside the door, careful to stay out of sight. "Yes, that works. I'll come by around 11, she said. There was a pause, presumably as the person on the other end spoke. "No, I'd prefer to keep it private for now." "Yes, thank you. I'll see you on Thursday." Her words were vague, but it didn't take a genius to figure out she was scheduling some kind of medical appointment. My stomach twisted. Why hadn't she told me? If something was wrong, wouldn't I be the first person she'd turn to? I knocked lightly on the door and stepped in. "Hey, everything okay?" I asked, trying to sound casual. Amanda jumped slightly. "Kevin, I didn't hear you come in." She quickly slid her phone into her pocket and forced a smile. "Yeah, everything's fine. Just catching up with a friend." I nodded, but something felt off. She seemed tense, like she'd been caught doing something she shouldn't. The conversation had been formal, like she was talking to a professional. It didn't add up. "Oh," I said, trying to keep my tone light. "Anything exciting?" "Not really," she replied quickly. "Just planning something for next week." She busied herself with laundry on the bed, avoiding my gaze. If it was just a simple conversation, why was she acting so nervous? My gut told me there was more to it, but I tried to push it aside. "All right," I said, heading toward the door. "Just checking in." "Thanks," she replied, her voice tight. As I left the room, my mind raced. Something was off. Amanda and I didn't keep secrets. Not like this. If she had made a doctor's appointment or had a health issue, she would have told me. Maybe it was nothing, or maybe there was something she didn't want me to know. The day of her appointment, I decided to follow her. I know it sounds invasive, but the uncertainty was eating me alive. I needed to know what was going on. She left the house a little after 10:30 a.m., dressed casually in jeans and a sweater, her purse slung over her shoulder. I waited a few minutes before grabbing my keys and heading out after her. Keeping my distance, I tailed her car across town until she pulled into the parking lot of a small nondescript health clinic. My heart sank. This wasn't a regular doctor's office, it was a lab, the kind that specializes in tests. My mind raced with possibilities, each one worse than the last. Amanda stayed inside for about an hour. When she finally emerged, she looked tense, her shoulders hunched and her steps quick. She got into her car and drove off without noticing me parked a few spaces away. That night, I waited for the right moment. After dinner, Amanda said she was going to take a shower. As soon as I heard the water running, I slipped into the bedroom and opened her purse. My hands trembled as I rummaged through it, half hoping I wouldn't find anything at all. But then, there it was, a folded piece of paper tucked into the side pocket. I pulled it out and unfolded it, my eyes scanning the words. Receipt for laboratory services. Test conducted. STD panel. I felt like the ground had been ripped out from under me. My stomach churned as the implications hit me like a freight train. Amanda had gone for an STD test. Why? My mind raced with questions, each one darker than the last. Was she sick? Did she think I had cheated on her? Or was she the one who had done something she wasn't proud of? As I stood there gripping that receipt, the sound of the shower stopped. Panic surged through me. I shoved the paper back into her purse and returned to the living room, pretending to scroll through my phone as if nothing had happened. But my heart was pounding, and I knew that the truth, whatever it was about to come to light. Later that night, Amanda fell asleep early. She claimed she wasn't feeling well, and I didn't push her, though my mind was racing. I couldn't shake the weight of that receipt burning a hole in her purse. And in my mind. The questions kept piling up. Why would she need an STD test? What was she hiding from me? I waited for her to fall asleep, her breathing steady and deep. Quietly, I slipped out of bed and grabbed her phone from the nightstand. My heart pounded as I sat on the couch in the dark, the glow of the screen lighting up my face. I hated myself for snooping, but the need for answers was stronger than my guilt. Her phone was unlocked. Something I'd never thought twice about before. I opened her messages and began scrolling. Most of the chats were normal, filled with mundane conversations about work or friends. But then I found a thread with someone I didn't recognize, a name saved simply as Jenna. The messages started innocently enough, with Amanda thanking Jenna for inviting her to the party. But as I scrolled further, my stomach churned. "Girl, you were wild that night. I still can't believe you did that," Jenna wrote. "Please don't remind me. I was so drunk, I can barely remember half of it," Amanda replied. "Well, I've got the receipts if you ever forget," Jenna added. I felt sick. What the hell was she talking about? I scrolled faster, and that's when I found it. A string of photos and videos Jenna had sent. My hand trembled as I opened the first video. The grainy footage showed Amanda in the middle of a crowded room, swaying unsteadily as music blared in the background. A man's arm was around her waist, pulling her closer, and she didn't seem to resist. Another photo showed her laughing, her head thrown back, as two other men stood by, their expressions unmistakable. And then I found the video that shattered my world. Amanda was in a bedroom, the camera shaky but clear enough to show everything. She was with 3 men at the same time. The room spun as I watched, my stomach twisting into knots. She was laughing, stumbling, and slurring her words, but she wasn't stopping them. They were touching her, kissing her, and pulling her down onto the bed, and she was letting them. I paused the video, unable to watch anymore. My chest felt like it was caving in, the air thick and suffocating. This wasn't just a drunken mistake. This was something else entirely, something I couldn't even process. But I knew one thing. I needed to keep this evidence. I wasn't sure what I was going to do yet, but I couldn't let this slip away. My hands shaking, I forwarded the entire message thread, photos, videos, and all, to my own phone. Once everything was safely sent, I went back and carefully deleted the conversation from Amanda's phone. If she checked, she wouldn't suspect that I'd seen anything. I sat there for what felt like hours, staring at the phone in my hands. How could this be real? The woman I loved, the woman I thought I knew, had done this? I wanted to wake her up, to shake her and demand answers, but I couldn't. Not yet. Instead, I put the phone back on the nightstand exactly where I'd found it, and sat in the dark living room, my mind spinning. This wasn't just about an SDT test anymore. This was betrayal on a level I never imagined. I knew I couldn't ignore it. The truth was out, and sooner or later I was going to have to confront her about everything. I didn't sleep that night, the weight of the truth pressing down on me. The video, the messages, everything I had learned about Amanda's betrayal twisted in my gut. I couldn't keep it to myself anymore. She had to face what she had done. When Amanda woke up the next morning, I didn't say a word. I just pulled out my phone and started sending the photos and videos. To her family, her friends, everyone who mattered to her. I wasn't going to let her keep lying to everyone, pretending to be the woman she once was. She walked into the living room and froze, staring at her phone in horror. I could see the panic in her eyes as she realized what I'd done. "What? What did you do?" Her voice was a mixture of fear and disbelief. "I told them the truth," I said flatly. "Everyone knows who you really are now. They know about you and your little secret." "Kevin, please." She tried to step forward, but I held up my hand. "No," I said, the anger bubbling up now. "You don't get to hide anymore. You don't get to lie to everyone and pretend like I don't know what you've done." She started to shake her head. "I didn't mean for it to happen. It was a mistake. I was drunk and—" "Don't," I interrupted. "You knew what you were doing. You knew exactly what was happening, and now you have to live with the consequences." Her face crumpled as the tears started to fall. "Kevin, please. I'm so sorry. I never meant to hurt you. It was a mistake. I just—" "A mistake?" I snapped, my voice rising. "You didn't just make a mistake. You cheated on me, with 3 guys. 3 guys at the same time. And now, after everything, you think you can just brush it off like it's nothing?" "I didn't want to hurt you," she whispered, sobbing now. "I swear I didn't mean for this to happen." I stared at her, my heart numb. "You didn't want to hurt me? You didn't care about anything but your own selfishness. Do you have any idea how I felt when I saw those videos? How you made me look? Made me feel like a fool?" She reached for my hand, but I pulled it away. "No, you don't get to fix this. Not now, not ever." "I'll do anything, Kevin. I'll go to therapy. I'll prove to you that it was just a mistake." "Please," she begged. "You don't get it," I said, voice cold. "I know about the STD test too, the one you had because you knew something was wrong. And now I'm the one left picking up the pieces." Her eyes widened as she realized I knew about the test. "Kevin, I wasn't thinking. It just happened, but I never wanted to hurt you." I cut her off. "No more excuses, Amanda. It's over. I'm filing for divorce." Her face fell, the shock and disbelief still written all over it. She stumbled backward as if the words had physically knocked her off balance. You're serious?" she whispered. "Yes, I am," I replied, my voice steady. "You ruined this. You ruined us. And I'm done." She collapsed onto the couch, sobbing uncontrollably. "Please, Kevin, don't leave me. I love you." "I loved you too," I said quietly, turning to walk out the door. "But that's over now." As I left, I felt nothing but emptiness. The woman I thought I knew, the woman I loved, was gone. The person standing in front of me wasn't her anymore. She was someone else, and I wasn't going to spend another minute of my life trying to fix what she had broken. Eventually, Amanda's results came back positive. I went to get tested, terrified of what I might find. Thankfully, my results were negative. Her family and friends were shocked and disgusted by the photos and videos I shared. They couldn't believe the woman they knew was capable of such betrayal. Her perfect image crumbled, and soon she was isolated, left to face the consequences alone. A few months later, the divorce was finalized. The legal battles were draining, but in the end, Amanda's actions were too much to ignore. She got nothing from the divorce. No alimony, no assets. I wasn't going to let her profit from the mess she created. As time passed, I focused on rebuilding my life. Amanda tried therapy, but nothing seemed to work. She called me repeatedly, begging for forgiveness, but by then, I was already done. Slowly, the calls began to stop. I moved on, and she faded from my life completely. The lies and betrayal once so fresh became distant memories. Life continued, and for the first time in a long while, I felt truly free. Thank you for watching.